Welcome back, Seth Bling here. I've made some more progress on my Super Smash Bros. Map, and I wanted to show you some of the cool technology that I've developed in the course. So I'm going to show you three things. The first is the player selector. I've got a cool lockout system on that once the player gets picked. Over there, I've got a map selection system, and I had that in the previous video, but I didn't show how it works, and it's a kind of neat system. Very compact and very useful with command blocks. And then I also want to show you the random item spawner that spawns items throughout the map. So the first thing is these. Basically the idea is there's a pressure plate where each of these signs are, and you stand on the pressure plate to pick the player. And once you do, that triggers a command block down here underneath the pressure plate. But it also pushes out a block, so anyone else who wants to get in here won't be able to. So it just locks it out when you step in there. It's really easy, actually. I have an RS NOR latch. It's just two torches feeding into each other, and that's just an RS NOR latch. It triggers this piston. So when you step on the pressure plate, it sets the RS NOR latch, and that causes this piston to extend. And then when you provide a signal over on this line, let me get myself a button so I can do that. I'll put it here. When you provide a signal over on this line, it resets all of the RS NOR latches, and so the piston just comes back in. So if we follow this line, we can see that that line gets triggered. Actually, I should fix this map before I move on. This sign is important. It's actually functional. That gets triggered. This line gets triggered over from the map selection system. So the idea is whenever the players over here select a map, it resets all of the lockouts on the player thing, because basically you won't be in that player selection room again until the map is over. So the idea is when you load the game up, you pick a player, then you pick a class, and then you get teleported over here, and there's a bunch of buttons for maps. Now I've got 3 maps so far. I've got Nether Fortress, Village, and Mushroom Island. So 2 of those maps are new since last time. I've also got a randomization button here. Random map. And so this is a cool system here. This is actually very compact for what it does. So when you press a button, it does 2 things. First thing it does is it sends a signal down this wire through these repeaters. It's only going to trigger 1 line of repeaters, and so that will trigger just the piston here that's associated with the button you pushed, and it will also trigger this entire line of redstone right here. Now this line of redstone does feed into that player lockout system, reset system over there, but it also triggers all of these pistons. So the idea here is that basically this piston will get triggered only for the button you push, but this piston will get triggered no matter what. And when I say that, I mean that for all of these pistons. So this piston will get triggered only if you push the far right button, but this piston will get triggered if you push any of these buttons. And so the way that ends up working out is, by the way, the reason the piston gets triggered, so this block gets powered, which provides power to this piston. Normally that wouldn't provide a block update though, and that's how some block update detectors work. This redstone lamp is crucial here because it basically, when this block gets powered, this lamp turns on, which provides a block update to the piston and makes sure it gets powered even though the block that's actually being powered is 2 blocks away. Yeah, so when you push a button, basically one of these pistons will push out, and then all the other ones will get pushed back in. And there's enough of a delay that that all of these pistons are going to try and push in, but if one of the pistons, if this piston is extended already, obviously this piston isn't going to be able to push this block. So what ends up happening is the block sits over one of these, or basically in one of these positions, and I'll actually show you. So if I put, say, a repeater down here and I push this button, oh, it teleports me. Okay. Yeah, I forgot that it was actually going to teleport me. So it teleported me, and that's because this command block got triggered, so it teleported me to those coordinates. But underneath, we can see that this block is actually displaced too. And so that's important because we don't just care about this line of command blocks that teleports us to the actual map. We also care about these command blocks down here, which basically teleport you back to the map when you respawn. So the idea is, if you're playing the game and you get killed, you respawn in a spawn capsule over here. And this is in the main kind of spawn area of the world. And in order for you to get sent back to the correct map, you get teleported into this capsule right here. This capsule triggers, basically turns off this line here, which allows all of these torches to turn on. But for most of these torches, they're not going to power anything when they turn on. However, for this torch right here, since there's a block above it, and there's a command block above that, this torch is actually going to power that command block. So this is a fancy choosing system that will allow you to store the state of which command block to use. Shoot, sorry about that, Skype. So it stores the state of which command block to use when you need to get teleported back into the map. But it's a very simple to build contraption. It's basically, I mean, you can see all of the redstone and everything right here, and it's just the same layer repeated over 14 times. So this only works for a maximum width of 15 because if you push the button over here, then this redstone will get powered, and that'll only travel 15 blocks over here. So it only works for up to 15, but I plan on having fewer than 15 maps in total. So let me push a button for a different one, say like the village, and that will teleport us to the village map, or to some redstone stuff in the village map. Now this is my box that I showed in the previous Smash Brothers progress video, with all the player life totals. So here's the village map, and so there's a spawner here. This mob spawner actually spawns items, and if we look in there, we can probably see, yeah, there's like a potion in there right now, but it spawns items randomly, and it does that every 3 seconds. It spawns 3 to 4 seconds, I think. It spawns a new item. So if we look around, we'll actually be able to see it. We might have to look around the outside of the map too. And it's going to spawn things continually, even if I'm not within 16 blocks. Did I see something? Nope. I saw a particle. Yeah, I might have to look around a little bit to find an item, but items. Oh, I saw one spawn in midair right there. I guess it dropped down. Let's see if I can find one. Okay, so here we go. We see a golden apple on the ground. So this spawned from that spawner way over there. And this actually, any items that spawn from this spawner are going to have a timeout of 15 seconds. So it disappeared pretty quickly. And so that's just so that the items don't kind of stock up for a while. So, oh, here's another one. Here's another. This is a Pokemon ball, or creeper spawn egg. It just disappeared, so I guess that had already been around for a few seconds. Let me load up my my kind of test world. I'll show you the process that I went through to do that. Basically, I have all the items in one of these chests. Yeah, this chest. So I have, you know, my potions, some Pokeballs, golden apples. These are hammers. And so I just littered these items on the ground over here, kind of in a line. But then I ran a filter called Change Entities in order to mark down the current lifetime of the item. So each item lasts for 5 minutes by default, which is 5 minutes is 300 seconds or 6,000 ticks, 6,000 game ticks. And so basically I subtracted 300 from that number to get 5,700 game ticks for the lifetime that should be exhausted on them. So if you set their age to 5,700, then basically they'll despawn in 15 seconds. So first I ran that filter on all the items that I had dropped on the ground, and then I selected them all and ran the Create Spawners filter, and I have a bunch of spawners from that. and those each spawn different types of items. This one's the hammer spawner. This one I think is a gold apple spawner. Another one here, it's a notch gold apple, etc. So here's some Pokeballs. So then I ran my combine spawners filter on all of these, and that produced this one. This one is the one that produces random ones. So here we got a Pokeball. Actually, I think it's spawning them in a radius around the area. But yeah, so this one is the one that actually spawns them. And then you can use my set spawner properties filter to actually make sure that it will detect the player within 1,000 blocks, say. And so it's kind of always running, even if the player isn't within 16 blocks. You also want to decrease the amount of time it takes between spawns. I think I decreased it to about 3 seconds or 4 seconds, and then I increased the spawn radius to about 50 so that it would spawn in a kind of large square, a square of diameter 100 around the spawner. So, and then I can just copy and paste that spawner into each map, and it will spawn the items throughout the map, and they'll have the 15-second timeout, and everything's great. So I just wanted to kind of go over some of the map making techniques that I use to make the maps. I know sometimes it can seem like I'm performing, black magic when I make these complicated maps, but when you break them down into their individual steps, with a little bit of elbow grease, I think most people can get it to work if you want to spend the time to kind of understand how I'm doing it. So anyway, the map is not ready yet, and I don't think it's going to be ready for about maybe like a week and a half. So maybe look out for it around that time from when this video is released. I'm really excited for it though. That's about it. Thanks for watching.